complaints that the adults don't get included in the games. I think what that really means is there's some complaints that the adults don't get the candy as the prize. So we're going to include, since it's Father's Day, we're going to include the dads. So I need a team from this section. Augie, would you grab your father and come on up here and take this seat right here? Suzanne will help get you situated. From this section, Maggie, would you bring up your grandfather to be with you this morning? You guys can have this seat right here. Who did I have over here? Oh, yes. How could I forget? Cheyenne, would you grab your father and come sit in this chair right here? Oh, come on. This is your section right here. All right, so everyone understands we're going to play a game, and this is your team right here. Yeah. This is your team right here. And this is your team. I'm sorry, I said this is your team. Okay, all right. Now here's how the game goes. Men, you have a whiteboard with a pen, and we're going to play How Well Do You Know Your Dad? So we're going to ask 4 questions. And here's the thing. Your dads are going to write the answer on the whiteboard. Then we're going to come and ask the kids the answers that they think dads gave, all right? Now, your job is to cheer them on and to keep score. Now, based on how this went last session, you're not going to need much to keep score. This is not a high-scoring game, all right? So here we go. Number 1, how well do you know your dad? Dad, if you could pick one restaurant in town to go to today, where would it be? What restaurant would you go to today? This is where we need that music, right? Okay, we needed good music. I don't know what that was. All right, are you ready, Matt? Augie?
Patsy's.
Patsy's. I may have spoken too soon, so the score is now 1. All right. Maggie, are you ready? What restaurant do you think your grandfather would like to go to? Give it a shot.
What's your best guess?
First thing that comes to mind. That's the way to go. The ice cream shop. See, he tried to hedge his bets. He said McDonald's. Yeah, that was a good thought. That's good. He's strategizing. But the score here is 0. Cheyenne, are you ready? What restaurant would your dad like to go to?
Applebee's.
Applebee's. He said, show the crowd, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Of course, Chick-fil-A is not open on Sunday, so you win that one, right? All right, it is now 1. Okay, plenty of time, though. Plenty of time. Question number 2. Dad, if you could fly anywhere in the world for a week, all expenses paid, where would you go? Anywhere in the world, all expenses paid.
Augie says he has a guess.
Oh, Augie, you're on it?
He's all over it.
We got to wait for everyone to get caught up.
Feeling
you got
confident.
An answer? Oh, I like that one.
This is so weird.
This is weird? All right, Augie, what do you say?
Sicily, Italy.
Italy, nailed it.
Whoa! He crossed out Kiowa, though.
Yeah, Kiowa. Yeah. Maggie, do you have a guess?
Where would your grandpa like to go?
California.
California, she says.
Close, England.
England. Okay, close.
Cheyenne,
Little
you have
bit
a guess.
of a
Where would
little bit of
Dad
a
like to
pond
go? Anywhere in the
between.
world.
Reno.
Or Hawaii.
Reno, Hawaii.
I'm liking her guesses more and more. Okay, this is a very important question. The two of you have got to get this one right, or Augie sweeps it, all right? But we'll still do all 4 questions. Here's question number 3. Dad, what is one activity you enjoy most with your kid who is sitting right up here with you today? What do you like doing with the child that is in front of you right now? Well, this one's a little tougher.
The answer? She's telling me the answer.
Oh, no, that's not how the game's played. That's how it's won, but it's not how it's played.
If you're not
You have an
cheating, you're
answer?
not
All
trying.
right, good, good. All right, that's good. All right, Augie.
You ready?
Maybe going shooting.
Swimming.
Shooting.
Shooting.
Hey!
He said camping.
Camping. You guys.
The door has been
created
opened.
an opening. That's right. Okay.
Maggie, what do you
What do
say?
you say?
Connect 4.
Connect 4, playing games. You get the point.
Woo! Okay, Cheyenne, what do you think?
I think it's. What's the question again?
What would you like? What would your dad like to do with you if you guys could do anything together?
I really don't know yet, but let me think for a while.
She's gonna take the mic there for a second. Give it a shot. What do you like to do with your dad?
Play puzzles and swimming.
Play puzzles?
Puzzles and
Legos?
swimming.
We're gonna give you the point.
Okay, sounds good. Legos or puzzles? I'm down with
So now
that.
the score is. Oh, whoa. You don't sound very excited about that. Last question, Dads.
All right, here we go.
Dad, what is the best Father's Day present under $20 that you could get from your kids? Under $20. He's got one. Think you know? Yeah. Oh, she just threw you for a loop a little bit.
All right.
And they're free.
You feeling pressure, Augie? It's hard to
Yes,
keep the lead.
Free is under
Okay.
$20.
Right.
Are
No
we ready?
pressure, Augie. If you get this, you're guaranteed to win.
Stuffed pigs.
Stuffed pigs is the answer.
Stuffed pigs. Something
Something
yeah,
clay.
that is not. No. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Has nothing to do with pigs. So we got. All right, we could go for a tie right here. Maggie, what do you think?
What do you think?
It's something that's for free.
Good plan. Thrifty, I like.
So you got a hint.
It might be puzzles.
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 It was a hug.
Hug. Aww.
Aw. You still got it. Yeah, you still got it.
Okay, Cheyenne.
Maxi Monster Truck.
Monster truck. That's in Monopoly
He
money.
wanted a
but
hug as well.
Oh, good job.
Which means, Augie, you win.
Augie wins.
But don't go anywhere,
Woo!
guys. So here's what you win, Dad. You get a big bag of Skittles. Augie, you get a big bag of Skittles. You each get a slightly not large bag of Skittles, but you don't go away empty-handed. You guys get a bag of Skittles as well. Thank you. All right, thank you guys. Give them all a round of applause, will you? Thank you. All right, are we having fun this morning? All right, I want everyone to stand up. We need to get our blood pumping. It is Sports Camp Week, and we have not done a song from Sports Camp. So everyone, give the Schusters a round of applause. Encourage them to come on up. Now, I want to tell you while they're coming up, during one of the songs this morning, I was this close to coming up because it was one of those clapping moments, and you're not awake or something because you didn't clap. If you're not into this song, I will call you on stage. There are emotions, there is activity. Men, I know it's hard, but at least give us one of these, right? At least bounce the knees a little bit or something. What's that? What's that?
I was helping.
Come on up, come on up. Yep. In fact, any kid that was part of sports camp who wants to come help, come on up. We're going to sing the Romans 8:28 song. Let it roll.
Romans 8:28. Let me hear you sing it.
We know that in all things God works for the good, and we know that in all things God works for the good, and we know that in all
Thank you, guys. All right, everyone, have a seat. Man, give those kids a round of applause again, will you? Man, it is time. Grab your Bibles. Are you ready for the 12-minute sermon? That's what we're doing today. Dads, this one is just for you. We're talking about Mega Sports Camp, and this week, that's that verse you just sang, Romans 8:28. You're not going to get that out of your head all day, are you? It is stuck in there, and that's good. That's the way we want it. So they've been talking about that verse, and they've had an epic theme, and they've had mega points all week. Their theme, or the mega theme, their mega theme is epic moments. And all week they've been talking about the epic moments in Peter's life. In fact, you can see all the moments 1 through 5 on this wall over here. They're actually over here as well. The moments are. The moment when Peter had a discovery of who Jesus was and Peter decided to join his team. The moment when Peter had some adversity. He jumped out on the water to walk on the water with Jesus, but did that last very long? No, he went down. He started to sink, but Jesus was there to help him out of that. Jesus changed Peter's name, changed who Peter was when he did that. And then probably the darkest moment of Peter's life was Peter's absolute and utter defeat. What did Peter do? He denied him. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I'm sorry, I said 3 times.
1, 2, 3, Jesus loves me.
There you go. So they had to do that every time they heard that number. I won't say it again. All right? So even in his defeat, though, Jesus restored him and brought him to ultimate victory. And those moments probably follow some moments in your life. We all have epic moments, don't we? How many of you have epic moments in your life? Right? And those moments are the moments that change us. They transform us. So I made a list of some of my epic moments. Would you like to hear some of my epic moments? I came up with a total of 16, and I grouped them into the good things that have happened in my life and some not so great things. So I'm going to start with the good stuff. Are you ready? This is the most epic, most important single moment of my entire life. Any guesses? When I met Steve. That close. That's a close somewhere. When Kyle was born. That's close. Here, it's when I was born. See, without that moment? Okay, you got it. All right, let me go through the rest. My encounter with Jesus is one of my biggest moments. I remember sitting around the ottoman in my grandparents' living room watching Pat Robertson on the 700 Club. This is before he ran for president and did all that stuff. And he asked anyone who was watching if they wanted to accept Jesus into their life. And I remember kneeling down at that ottoman and making that step. Now, the good news is from that moment on, I was a perfect human being. Yeah, I was like 9 years old. I had a process that God was still taking me through, but I can look back on that moment and see that was a moment that changed and transformed my life, much like Peter's first encounter with Jesus. All right, here's some more, little less extravagant, shall I say. I remember my first kiss. How many of you remember your first kiss? Now, I will tell you, her name was Suzanne, but it was not this Suzanne. It was totally different Suzanne in a junior high school dance, one of the most awkward moments of my life, and we're not going to go into any more detail than that. I remember getting my driver's license. I remember my first car. It had a floor that would hit the ground, and sparks would fly out the back of the car, and it wasn't a design feature. I remember my first ticket. I remember my first accident. And I remember being terrified because it was my mom's Honda Accord that I had borrowed. And it was her baby, and I knew my dad was going to kill me. And so I called, and I told him what had happened, and my dad came, and he looked at the car. First thing he did, he asked if I was okay. He made sure that I was healthy enough for him to kill, I guess. He said, "Are you okay?" And he looked at the car, he looked at the front end, all the damage that was done, and then he just shook his head. He didn't say a word. He got in his car, and he drove away. Oh, that's bad. That's not a good one. But I remember that moment. I remember it. I remember my first job. Oh, wait, before that, I remember graduating high school and then graduating from college. That's a big moment, right, in our lives. I remember my first job out of high school. My very first job was Dairy Queen. That was a glorious job. I tell you what, some people say when you work in a place you get sick of it. Oh no, I would have a soft serve ice cream machine in my house right now if I could figure out how to make that happen, right? That was a great job. But I remember my first job out of high school, which turned into a 15-year-long career. One of those things, I started out literally in the mailroom. Actually, I started below the mailroom and kind of worked my way up from there. I remember my very first sermon. I've talked about that before. That was an epic moment in my life. I had a youth pastor and a pastor that absolutely believed in me. They gave me 20 minutes on was it a Sunday morning? Do you remember? I think it was a Sunday morning. It was either Sunday or Sunday night. Remember, we used to do Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesdays. I think it was a Sunday night. Gave me 20 minutes. I was prepared. I was ready. I did 20 minutes and 5 minutes, and I didn't miss anything. I said it all. Those poor people. I've gotten a little bit better than that, I hope, since that time. And obviously, that's led to this. Here's another episode. This is one that I bolded. This is a big one. My wedding day. 26 years ago, this June 30th, I remember standing at the front and watching Anita walk down the aisle thinking, she is so stupid. I am so lucky. She's an idiot. What is she doing? That was one of the greatest moments of my life, soon after to be followed by the birth of each one of our children. I tell you what, that first one, though, leaves a dent, doesn't it? I mean, they give you that child, and this is a human being that I am in charge of for the rest of my and her life. And we've talked about this before. I remember bringing Lindsay home from the hospital. We set her down in the middle of the living room. We're like, now what? There's no nurses, there's no doctors, there's no manual. That book they give you does not tell you everything that you need to know. That changed and transformed me from that moment on. I remember becoming pastor here at Pinecrest now, like 8 years ago. Becoming lead pastor 5 years ago. I remember running my first marathon. Also my last marathon. I remember all the mission trips I've gone on. We did mission trips when we were youth workers in Colorado Springs. And our first one, I think, was the Kansas City Rescue Mission in Kansas City. I remember taking a group of a bunch of young people in a 15-passenger van halfway to Kansas in the middle of July. The air conditioner broke down. Hell, that was horrible. And we had to make the trip there and all the way back with a bunch of teens who were very excited about the fact that the air conditioning did not work. They had ice dripping on them the whole trip. I remember going to Cambodia and to Germany and the impact that taking those trips had on me. To the point, we have a thing called Mission Blues. You come back from a trip and you want to sell everything you have. And you want to change your life because you see the impact that Jesus is having around the world and the things that people are living without that we take for granted. And it changes you. My last one is very light. I remember each of my 110 hobbies and counting. Now, those who know me best know I will start a new hobby about every other week. I say month, but the truth is it's probably about every other week. I just like trying new things. I've decided now I'm embracing that about myself. My hobby is hobbies. That's my hobby. You look back over those are the good things that have happened, and that is not a complete list. It's a partial list, but those are some good things. But was everything good? No, there's some bad things. Lost a job. Didn't live a life. My entire life, I have not lived the life I wanted to. In fact, there were times, dark times in my life, where I almost lost my family. And I made really bad decisions. I'm the only one in the room who's ever made bad decisions that affected your life, right? I've lost people very close to me. Lost my brother to suicide. A year after we were married? Thought he had his life together, thought things were going well for him. He thought otherwise. Lost my grandfather. I've lost my sister-in-law to cancer. You all can relate to those kinds of stories. I have sat. These are some of the both high and low points of my tenure as a pastor. There are times that not only do I have tragedy in my life, but sharing in the tragedies, the things that are going on in your life. I've sat at the bedside of a teenager who made a really stupid decision, and it cost him his life. Sitting with a family at the bedside. There are no words. There's nothing you can say in those moments, right? We have great things in our lives, and we have really challenging things in our lives. And you can think of some yourself, can't you? I mean, some of the things I've listed, you would put on your very list. In fact, I think most of our lists are very similar. And Peter's life, when we look at his life, that's the kind of journey I want to have in my spiritual life. I want to get to know who God is and recognize him as the one who brings victory in my life. Well, this week, the kids have been talking about epic moments. And they've been talking about Romans 8:28, which is the song we just sang about. We know this verse, don't we? All right, say it with me. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That is a great promise, isn't it? I want to tell you what that verse does not say, but sometimes we wish it said. That verse does not say that God will take every bad circumstance in your life and make it a good circumstance. It doesn't say that. What does it say? God will take all things, the good and the bad, and work them out for your good. Doesn't mean he's going to make every circumstance great, but he'll take the things in your life, the good and the bad, and he'll work them out according for your good. He'll take the bad. I looked at this list of bad things. The sin in my life, God has used those moments, the darkest moments in my life, to change and transform me and draw me closer to him. But the other thing I want you to know about this verse is this is not a promise for everybody. We think that's a promise for everybody sometimes, don't we? But there are caveats. There are rules, if you will. Not really rules, but there are some stipulations about when this verse applies into your life. When do they apply into your life? What's the first one you see? You got to love God. What that really means is you got to get on God's team. That word love there is not just, I kind of like God, I'm going to write him in on my ballot. Although, wouldn't that be awesome if we could do that this year? Hey, I just had a moment. Maybe that's what we should do, right? I'm going to start a new campaign on Facebook. Hashtag vote for God. There we go. You got to get on God's team like Peter got on God's team. God works things out in your life if you love him and you're actively demonstrating that love for him. The second caveat in Romans 8:28. Put the verse back up. Not only for those who love him, but who have been called according to his purpose, not your purpose. Well, I've been called to do what I want to do. No, you've been called to do what God has laid out for you. The way I put that is you need to learn God's playbook. You need to get on his team. You need to learn his playbook. Can you imagine? I love the fact that I get to use sports metaphors this morning, right? Can you imagine a team, the Broncos right now, they have like 14 quarterbacks, I think. Now, if there's one of those quarterbacks decides, you know what, I don't want to use Coach Kubiak's playbook, I'm going to make my own. I'll play my playbook. How long is that guy going to last? Yeah, he's going to be gone. He may not make it to training camp. He certainly isn't going to make it through training camp. But we try to do the same thing. We try to play our playbook. But Romans 8:28 says if you want God to work out the things in your life, you got to play by his playbook. He's got a purpose and a plan for your life, and you got to live out that way, which means, here's the third point. I know I'm messing up with him. You got to play God's game. See, he says God will work out all the things in your life. Who's going to work out the good stuff in your life? Who? God is going to do it. God has a job and a role to play in your life. He wants to take the good and the bad in your life and transform them into good for you. Here's your job. Are you ready? Let him. Let God do the work in your life that only he can do. Your job is to love him, to learn his playbook, and then to let God do what he's going to do. Can you imagine if all the players on the Broncos, the first game out, all decided they wanted to play the game they wanted to play? All the men went out onto the field, and they all played a different play. One of them is playing a pass play. The other is playing a running play. Some of them are on offense but decide they want to play defense. Can you imagine what would happen? It's chaos. You ever been to a church that's a little chaotic? Your life ever been a little chaotic? It's because we're not doing this. We're not playing God's game according to his playbook. Here's your 2 assignments for this week. And I went a little over, but you're going to forgive me, right? Because you have to, because it's in the Bible. And if you don't believe me, ask me. I'll show you where it is. Here's your 2 assignments for the week. Number 1, I want you to write down the epic moments in your life. Take some time and reflect. What are the big moments that have changed who you are? Some of them are going to be good moments. Some of them are going to be horrific moments. Some of them you don't even want to remember. But I want you to write them all down. I know what happened when I did that is I realized the good moments in my life really did outweigh the bad moments in my life, but sometimes I don't think that way. It made me thankful for the good moments that God has placed in my life. And then as I examined all those moments, I began to see how God actually has worked all of those things out for my good, especially when I've gotten on his team. And by the way, when I haven't been on his team is when God has used those moments to get my attention. He's put me in a timeout once or twice in my life. He told me to go run laps. You just go run laps until you've learned your lesson, and then we'll play the game. And I want you to think about those moments. What has God done in your life? And then your second homework assignment is play God's game. Do this. Get on his team. If you're not on his team, get on his team, learn his playbook, and play by his rules. Amen? All right, let's pray together. Father, I thank you for this great day that you've given us. I thank you for all the dads here in this room. And I know not everyone here has a great father figure, but I thank you that we have the ultimate father figure, our Heavenly Father, the perfect dad, who loves us and cares for us in ways that nobody else could. Father, you are working out things in our lives, even when things seem dark and dreary, things like they can't ever get any better. We know that you're working to bring about change in our lives. Father, sometimes that's painful. Sometimes it's a blessing from you and things are going great. And we thank you for both circumstances. Father, help us to play the game that you've called us to play according to your purpose. And all God's people said, amen. We got one more thing for you. We got a video thanks to Kyle. Everyone give Kyle a round of applause. We got a video all about sports camp. As soon as the video is over, you're dismissed. God bless you.
We don't care about the rain. We're still having mega sports camp.
Here and now, make it loud at the top of our lungs.
had a lot of fun in art camp. On Monday we began a coil ceramic project with a self-hardening clay, which the students are painting on Thursday. On Tuesday we did watercolor. They had fabulous work. And on Wednesday we began painting some crosses, and it was a positive and negative process. We put tape down, painted, and then pulled up the tape. Today we are finishing some paper pop-ups and some other paintings and some shirts. Fantastic.
Okay, I'm out here at the soccer field. Looking good out here. Ladies, give me your name. Tell me what you're doing out here.
Nikki, and I'm out here taking a break from food and supporting my daughter Hannah.
All right, and give us your name and what you're doing out here.
I'm Kathy, and I'm a 4th, 5th grade huddle coach.
On the soccer field. All right, and this is we just know her as Brock's sister. That's all.
My name is Johanna, and I'm a 2nd and 3rd grade soccer coach, and I'm out here on the soccer field too.
Let's go see what old head coach Jason is doing. Jason, tell us how these soccer kids are doing out here.
Oh, they're just amazing. They amaze me every moment.
Yeah, he's really pumping them up. But what about these little kids in these red shirts? Kyle, show those red shirts while I'm talking to Jason. What do you think about these little kids in these red shirts?
Oh, they're amazing. They're so fast. They're getting ready to beat me.
Yeah, they are good.
This is called beat the coach.
That's right.
They're getting ready to come right down there and try to score a goal on me. And I got to tell you, I'm terrified for my life.
You got it, for sure. All right, thanks, head coach Jason.
Happy Father's Day. Have a great week.
Video.